What's up, YouTube? Ryan Panny here. Hope you guys are doing reasonably well. One more thing to get to here before we crank out these year-end lists. No, I'm not gonna wait until January this year to do them. Rest assured, they are coming and coming this week. I'm so excited to share all four of them. They're awesome lists. But first, we have to do top 15 favorite songs for fiscal quarter four. Now, what qualifies as quarter four, as usual, of course, is a bit truncated just because we're technically still in quarter four, and I pretty much only considered music up to the release date of December 6th. After that, I cut it off. Otherwise, you'd probably see some music in here from like the new Kaytranada record, which is awesome. I also unexpectedly enjoyed some music from the Stormzy record, but you gotta cut it off at some point. Although other than those two records, it would appear that as far as new music in December goes, I'm not really missing much. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like new music ended a lot earlier this year than usual. Like, December has been a fucking ghost town. Unless you like One Direction. I think two of those One Direction members put out albums. There was Camilla, and then the two records I mentioned, and that's kind of it for December. So I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I cut it off because October and November were amazing. I came up with a really diverse list here that I'm really proud of. As usual, no metal music. We are going alphabetical order by artist, and down in the description you can find the full Spotify playlist with 10 additional honorable mentions. All right, let's do it. And then it is officially list season. So first up is Alter Bridge's Godspeed. If you saw my review of their new record, Walk the Sky, you'll know that it's one of my least favorite records of theirs, but there are a few great songs on it, most notably Godspeed, which sonically it's just like a warm blanket on a chilly night. It's musically and in terms of chord structure and the melodies and everything, it's so rapturous and so blissful. I love the big bright hook. I love the synthesizers that are worked in here. And in terms of this brand of happy hard rock, which is usually just incredibly cringy and impossible to listen to, this is an example of it actually working well. It's just bright and happy and owns its chordiness, and because of its broad appeal, I'm gonna recommend it to anybody and everybody. Another easy, accessible, low-hanging fruit listen here would be Armin van Buuren's Sunny Days. For a dance song, I just feel like these lyrics about trying to lift yourself out of depression are profound, as opposed to just dance songs which usually just have like one or two phrases being repeated over and over again by an ethereal female voice. To me, this song is about that middle ground where you've just gone through something really difficult and you're starting to get these little bursts of hope. You just hope that as you're going through what you're going through, those bursts of hope, or those sunny days, so to speak, become more and more numerous, and you're eventually able to dig yourself up out of that and proceed forward in your life. I love the piano and the chill, laid back dance vibe here. I think they kind of match that message well. Cigarettes After Sex, the Night Drive band, second to maybe Beach House, but probably not. Kiss It Off Me was one of many highlights on the new album Cry. They're only their second album. I feel like they're such a presence in the alternative and indie world, but it's their second record. Greg Gonzalez's voice is absolutely entrancing. The melodies are so gorgeous, and rumor has it that they literally recorded this album playing outside under the night sky. Like, you can't make that up. It's too perfect. Danny Brown's Shine I really loved. The production here has this depressing, dark longing to it that really resonates with me. And lyrically, just has several really memorable quotables from one of the most unique rappers in the game. He says at one point, "Shit weak like the knees on D Rose," or my favorite one probably, "Lose it all in a second like me too." Like, he's just one of those artists who always is keeping you on your toes, both musically and lyrically. Dave East, Mama I Made It, another hip hop song, one of my favorite songs ever from this 90s obsessed Nas protege. Arab music's beat here with the knocking kick drum and the string loop is amazing. Dave's flow is so in the pocket, and his ability to drive home a touching and inspirational lyrical concept here is impressive and definitely indicative of his top tier status as an MC. If maybe he's lagging behind the competition in terms of artistry, definitely as an MC, he's one of the best in the game. FKA Twigs' Mirrored Heart breaks my heart every time I hear it. And even worse is her actual description of the song for Apple Music, and I quote, "People always say, whoever you're with, they should be a reflection of yourself. So if you're looking at someone and you think you're a shitbag, then you have to think about why it was that person at that time and what's connecting you both. What is the reflection? For others that have found a love that is a true reflection of themselves, they just remind me that I don't have that, a mirrored heart." And if you think that's depressing and kind of true, the actual lyrics are even more penetrating. Oof. But I enjoyed the song, it's just depressing. Kanye West, Use This Gospel. Not one of the best albums of the year by any means, but definitely one of the most important, and I will stand by that statement. Kanye again shifting and redefining the hip-hop conversation and challenging hip-hop culture itself in the process. And hopefully in due time, people will look back on this more fondly, like what happened with 808s. But I think that's less likely here because now there's a real ideological gap between Kanye and hip hop that is just, there's not so much filling in left to do. 808s was more of people were just mad about his sonic direction. This is a little bit of a stronger opposition that people have to this record. Anyway, Use This Gospel though is awesome. I love Kenny G on here. He's the icing on the cake. Pusha T and No Malice are really good guest verses, and I actually think this album would have benefited from more guests if he had just brought in a bunch of really good MCs to kind of tell their spiritual story. Kanye's melodies and sung vocal arrangements on here are so memorable, so powerful. This is the one moment, kind of like what Blood on the Leaves was for Yeezus. It's the one moment where even haters have to kind of acknowledge that it's really cool. There's a lot of hate for this album. You don't have to love this album, but there was pretty much no hate for this song in particular, and you can't really hate on it. Madeon with one of the best EDM songs I've ever heard in my fucking life, Miracle. I'm just flooded with emotion every time this song comes on. The build here is so majestic, just breathtaking. And then the actual drop is so catchy and so joyful. And Madeon adding, because it's been 4 years in between Adventure and this new one, Good Faith, Madeon adding so much more vocal emphasis on this album makes for songs that are more neat and tidy and can be bottled up, as opposed to these extended kind of meandering mixes that you often hear in this style of music. These are tight but interesting songs. Good Faith is fucking amazing. You guys gotta check it out. I said this on Instagram and I'll say it again. It's one of the few albums that I would literally recommend to everybody. Really love the Majid Jordan single Superstar. It's sexy, it's luxurious. It's the type of music that every day of his life Drake wishes he could make. Just like The Weeknd is music that every day of his life Drake wishes he could make. And so that's why he surrounds himself with these people. And now that I've gone back and actually gotten into the space between and tried to get into them as artists, I'm actually really psyched for the next Majid Jordan record. Milky Chance had some good tracks on this new record, Mind the Moon. My favorite's probably the opener, Fado. Real perky and catchy, and I love the way the acoustic guitar pops in between drops to give it kind of this fusion-y feel between alternative music and dance music. Tame Impala's It Might Be Time. These guys released, 3 songs in all of 2019, and yet to me, they might have the best output of any artist this year. This in particular is a really depressing song lyrically, and that's what sort of draws me in. This idea of facing harsh truths as you get older, and that horrible feeling we've all felt probably that life is sort of passing you by, and you're still stuck in the same habits that you were always stuck in, but they're not working for you the same way they used to. I'm not sure what it says about me that at my age, this type of angst resonates so strongly, but it does. The Wale song Routine goes really hard. I love how the Ross and Meek features were surprises for me because I didn't actually look up the album credits before listening to it. And Meek Mill, as I always say, not a fan, haven't really ever been a fan, but boy, can he light up a guest verse. He's got so much energy. And that cinematic trap beat with the insane bass boost really drives this one home for me. I feel like it's 2011 again. I'm listening to Ambition with these 3 coming together. The Weeknd, of course, put out a couple of high-profile singles recently. Blinding Lights was my favorite, mostly just because I'm a real sucker for synth pop, and this song makes me feel like I'm listening to like 80s Pet Shop Boys or something. Wilco, Hold Me Anyway, a notable track from another stupidly titled Wilco record. This one was titled Ode to Joy. I really like this whole song, but that just perfect harmonized guitar line in the middle there is like my favorite musical passage of the whole year, maybe. I just love it. And the rest of the song is like Wilco themselves, relatively unassuming, but enjoyable. I felt that way since I first heard, what's that record, 4 a.m.? Actually, I think I first heard Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. That was the first Wilco record I got into, but that's kind of how I've always felt about them. And Yellow Wolf, Still Ridin', which I just talked about Ghetto Cowboy on here. The combination of the lead rock guitars and the scratches in this chorus alone is enough to land it on here. And Catfish Billy, as he is sometimes known, continues to be one of the most unique rappers with one of the most unique flows in the game. I definitely recommend Ghetto Cowboy for newcomers to Yellow Wolf, just because of his good records, which not all his records are good, of his good material, it's probably the most accessible thing he's done since like the first Chunk music. And that about wraps it up. I really hope I've added some new favorite songs to your lives. That's what I'm here for. As always, the Spotify playlist is down in the description. Go check it out. Honorable mentions in there as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and are not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so by clicking right over here, as well as checking out any of the other music-related content that I publish here on a weekly basis. Really appreciate you watching, liking, disliking, just engaging in any fashion. Twitter, Instagram handle @RyanPantyMusic. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.